Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're driving into the town of Old Harbour. We are exiting off the PJ Patterson Highway and going into the town of Old Harbour. Now straight ahead is a new Total gas station that was recently built. And recently they've been talking about the trains a lot in Jamaica. So this is the train track for Old Harbour. And it's still being used. That's the, well, you can't. Okay, hang on. I'm going to drive and look at the railway station for Old Harbour. Now this track is still being used. It's used by the bauxite companies, and it's also used to transport students from Old Harbour to Spanish Town. There is a pilot project going on for the railway where they're trying to get the trains up and running again in Jamaica. So this is the Old Harbour train station. Yeah, so they have a project going on where students can use a train between Old Harbour and Spanish Town, and up to 16,000 students a day use that service. So this train line is still in use. We're actually going to try and find out the schedule so that we can actually be here when the train comes in. But the government is trying to get the entire rail system up and running again. This is just a pilot project, the one between Old Harbour and Spanish Town, and it's only students that use it. But the bauxite companies also use the trains to get their goods to the ports. There's another pilot project program where the trains run from Linstead back to Spanish Town. Yeah, so the government is trying to get investors to come in and set back up the rail service right across Jamaica. Now Jamaica was one of the first countries to get a rail service back in 1845, and the trains ran until 1992 when the government shut it down. 1992. We have other videos up with going into the train service in more detail, so you can check those out. Alright, so we're heading back into Old Harbour now, into the town itself. And the trains used to run all over Jamaica, from Kingston to Montpelier, Kingston to Port Antonio, Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, every parish the train ran through. It's a shame that they stopped it, but it was the cost of maintaining the trains and the tracks that said it was too much, so they closed it. Now, when the train service started in 1845, it was private entities or companies that operated the train. But in 1960, the government of Jamaica took over the train service. That was 2 years before independence. And they ran the train service until 1992, 32 years. And after 32 years, they had to shut it down. Said it was too expensive to maintain, and a train service is expensive. However, when you think that the government subsidizes the bus service and used to subsidize Air Jamaica, the airline. I mean, I think they could have done more to subsidize the train service. But they didn't, and the train stopped running. And if you notice, Jamaica has a major problem with indiscipline on the roads. And a lot of it has to do with the public transport sector. A lot. Not all, but a lot. So if you had trains, now those trains that carry the students carry 16,000 students a day. That's a lot. A lot. Back and forth. So can you imagine if you had those kind of trains running all over Jamaica? I mean, it would make a real big difference in the way, it would make a difference in the way the transport sector is run. A huge difference. So hopefully they can get it up and running again. And they said it's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. But that's not impossible, because to build a highway like the North-South Highway or the PJ Patterson Highway, you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. And what the government did was to give the companies a concession so they could operate the road as a toll road and collect the toll to repay for the building of the highway. And it's working great. The PJ Patterson Highway was a 35-year concession. The Edward Siaga Highway was a 50-year concession. So it can be done. Some foreign investor can come and invest and get the train service up and running again, and also get their return on their investment. So to say it's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars is not an impossible task. It can be done. It has been done in the past with the roads. It can be done again with the train service or the railway service. Now, we did a video earlier about the train service starting back up, and you'd be surprised at how many people say they used to use the train. At one time, like in the 1960s, I think it's 69, somewhere around there, they said up to 1 million Jamaicans a year use the trains. 1 million. So, I mean, you build it and people will use the trains. Especially with all the advances that have been made over time with the railways and the trains. Definitely something that should be seriously looked into. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Glad you took the tour with us to take a look at the Old Harbour train station. We're going to make a video of the train actually running. We're just going to find out the time that it runs, and so you guys can see the actual trains that are operating in Jamaica. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Have a good day.